Hello, my name is Natalie Garcia, and I'm doing question 8 of the 2023 spring semester 3200 Excel final practice exam or practice for the Excel practice for the final exam. I've reached question 8. I do have answers in already. That was because I couldn't figure out how to do the video. Zoom saved 5 and got me to figure out how to do the videos, but I had already done the work trying to get as many points as possible. So I'll just explain how I came to my answers. Please bear with me while I do so. For question 8, it's develop a multiple linear regression model to predict quarterly sales using annual income and site visits as independent variables. Include a regression output on the sheet. Set output range to cell C28. I can't remember if I said it's 28. I don't think so. I think I put it to A28. So I'm sorry about that. But basically, yeah, it's just the same thing. Um, I would assume I can hold on. Now I need to cut this and just put it to C28 because I didn't see that before. So did I get everything? Yes, I did. We'll see. Cut. And then we're gonna paste it to C28, Control V. Perfect. I put it where they wanted it. Wonderful. And so for the regression equation, this one is wanting us to use quarterly sales as the dependent variable and annual income and site visits both as independent variables. So when you do the regression model, I'm gonna do one right now. You have to go to data analysis, regression. Sorry, I forgot to mention something. I had already put the quarterly sales and annual income and site visits over here, like I did in a previous question that had a regression model. You just copy and paste the data and you put it onto the sheet you're using to make stuff a lot easier. So I had already had all this information for when I do my data analysis. So you click data analysis, you're gonna go to regression. If you could find regression, there it is. And then we're just gonna clear all of this because this is a blank slate. We didn't do any of this, totally, definitely not. So your Y range, the Y range for this is going to be quarterly sales since that is what is our dependent variable. It's going to be here. I don't know why it's going to say it. Y range is dependent variable. Oh, because for some reason I put J. X range is going to be both annual income and site visits. And labels are on the top. And then the output range, we're just going to put a new worksheet so we don't mess anything up on the one I've already finished. This is the regression summary output, and it's going to be the same with the intercept for the regression output, the annual income, and the site visits as independent variables. For question 8, when you look at the question, it's going to be asking some basic info, including the regression equation. So it's going to be quarterly sales. The dependent variable is equal to the coefficient for annual income plus the coefficient for site visit, the coefficient for annual income times annual income plus the coefficient for site visits times site visits plus the intercept. These numbers are all gathered from the summary output of the regression, the intercept, and then the coefficients for annual income and site visits respectively. So you're just going to add that up. For the value of the intercept, you're just going to click equals directly from your output. That's going to be this one over here. I believe that's D44. Then for estimated regression for annual income, you're going to just look at the chart, coefficients, annual income is going to be D45. And then for site visits, it's going to be D46. All of this is directly from the summary chart. Then for correlation, this is not directly from the chart. You are going to have to use a function. It's going to be the correlation function. We had done that in a previous problem. You put equals coral. You're going to highlight quarterly sales, comma, highlight annual income. For the next question, it's going to be what is the correlation between site visits and quarterly sales? It's going to be the same thing, equals correlation. You gotta select site visits, comma, select quarterly sales. They're the arrays that you're selecting to check for correlation. When you are checking, yeah, and then you can see here when I click on it, that's exactly what it did. These are the ranges for my selected site visits and quarterly sales. For the purpose of proportion of variability in quarterly sales, that's going to be described by the, sorry about that. Oh, because I was still, I'm sorry, I was looking at, I had still selected correlation, so I was very confused. Proportion of variability is the R square variable. So it's gonna, not the variable, but it's gonna be R square, which is just the statistic for regression. And that's gonna be right here on the summary output is one of the first things there. And then you're just gonna click equals that. That describes proportion of variability in quarterly sales that's explained by the regression model that we set up. If the F statistic is the next question, F statistic is just another direct pull from the regression results. So it's going to be here. The F statistic is the test statistic. After that, it is the predicted quarterly sales for a customer that has annual income of $69,100 and site visits of 3. This is a plug and chug like question. You just follow the formula. So equals 0.11 times annual income minus 434.69 times site visits plus your intercept. How I do it usually is I'll actually click directly from the summary, so I'm not rounding. For my answer, I'm not wrong my final answer, but it's going to be so annual income equals this. So sorry, quarterly sales equals this times the given number, which was 69,112, plus site visits times the given number 3 plus the intercept, and that'll give you the final result here in this case of $11,518 with 25 cents. The residual for a customer in the previous question for their quarterly sales would be equal to the given number 12,316 minus the result that we got from using our regression equation, our regression analysis equation. So that would sum up to 797.746, and that's just the given number minus the previous answer. For the p-value, using the significance level 1%, the p-values are directly from the regression. So p-value for annual income is going to be here. That's 1.7698 e to -6. And then for site visits, that 0.2298. Because the p-value for annual income is below the significance level of 1%, then that would be a significant predictor of quarterly income. Because site visits p-value is well above the 1%, it is not a significant predictor of quarterly income. That is the end of question 8. We have reviewed everything and we did the summary output for the regression model and reviewed the statistics and the correlation function, as well as how to come up with a regression equation with independent variables on the equation side with their coefficients, and then the dependent variable on one side waiting to have the results. Also about the residuals and how to come to the conclusions based off of p-value. That's the end of question 8. On to question 9.